Hey guys, this video is a tutorial on how to do basic strikes with a staff for beginners.
Okay, so the first thing you want to do is hold your grip about shoulder length apart. Whichever hand is your dominant hand, you're going to have in a underhand grip, and the other hand in an overhand grip. I happen to be right-handed. You want to have your knees slightly bent in sort of a medium distance stance, not quite a wide stance, and you can face either way depending on what you're going to do. Now, these right here are some basic left-right horizontal strikes. I call this right here the front jab. The front jab is the quickest and most simple attack you can do. You simply extend out your arms and sort of imagine that you're striking with like a spear and just quickly jab the opponent, and it's usually a good opening move for follow-up strikes. Now to expand your left-right horizontal combo, you can add this upward strike by bringing the staff up to your shoulder and then down under your arm. A lot of people like to think of this as a strike, but it'd probably be more useful as like a transition or perhaps a defensive move to like swat an opponent's weapon up out of the way and create an opening for your follow-up strike. This right here is a basic downward strike to the top of your opponent's head. By stepping through and striking downward, I'm adding my body weight and momentum to the downward strike to add more force. Now another thing that you want to remember when you're doing this strike is to turn your wrist over and make sure your palm is basically on top of the staff so that all the pressure is not put on your thumb, causing you to break your thumb or dislocate it. Now to expand on your horizontal strikes even further, we're going to add this over the head spin transition, and what this is going to do is add momentum to your side strikes and create more kinetic energy when they impact your target. Here is the basic motion you're going to be doing over your head when you do this transition. And this is what it should look like. Okay, so this right here looks virtually the same, right? Well, what I'm actually doing is a technique that's a little more advanced form of what I just showed you that allows you to add even more spin and generate even more momentum for your strike. Now, this right here is a basic underhand strike that you could use as a defense to create an opening for your overhand strike by swatting your opponent's like weapon out of the way and then striking down. And here's a variation on that by adding more spin to the technique. Now to take that even further, we're going to add some grip switches to the technique. The change in grip is occurring when I'm swatting upward and when I'm bringing the staff back downward. Here and here. Did you notice them? So to slow it down, this is basically what's happening. I'm opening my top hand and I'm loosening grip on my lower hand and I'm sliding them in opposite directions. And this is how you do a backhanded jab. Backhanded jab is strong and it's a good opener for more powerful techniques like a full-on baseball bat swing. So you want to do the backhanded jab, and to avoid hitting yourself in the body, slide your grip down and swing. Now your front-handed jab could be a good opener for a 1-2 combo like in boxing. You do the jab and you follow up with the back end of your staff, kind of like a hook after a jab in boxing. So what you're going to do is bring the back end of the staff over and pivot at the hip and turn the foot outward so that you get a full range of motion on that swing. And it's a really powerful strike. Okay, now for this technique we're going to add a 360 motion to our downward strike to add more momentum to it and generate more kinetic energy. So you're going to step through with the right leg, and then as you're turning the staff over, because of the limitations of the human wrist, it's okay to open your lower hand slightly and keep the staff pinched in between your thumb and your index finger as you rotate back around into a full grip and strike downward. Now here's a look at that from another angle. Notice about right here, I have to start opening my grip and keeping the staff pinched in between my thumb and index finger, and then bring it back around. Now this right here is a long range grip, and you're going to hold your staff directly in front of you, almost like you're holding a sword, with the end pointed at your opponent's head. And the quickest strike that you could do from here would be the jab, which is the fastest and most direct strike that you could do. Next, this would be how you strike the top of your opponent's head quickly. It's a short movement, and you're going to go ahead and go from this position and then bring your arms up and the top of your staff down into this position. You could use this to strike down to the top of your opponent's head or diagonally to your opponent's neck or trap area. Now this is a jab, and it's the longest range strike you could possibly do with a staff. I'm lunging out forward, and with one arm I'm extending my staff all the way outward and returning it by flipping it back to me. This takes advantage of gravity's downward force on the end of the staff as you pull it back towards you. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a switch step as you extend your staff outward into a lunge, and then switch back as you're coming back. And all I'm doing with the staff is extending it out fully in front of me like a punch, and then I'm flipping the bottom of the staff up as I pull it towards me and catch. This here is another technique that you could use to add momentum to your horizontal strikes. So you're going to start to spin the staff in a 360 motion as you turn your body. You're going to turn around and you rotate your staff 360 degrees until it's horizontal again, and then as you fully make your turnaround, swing like a bat into a lunging position typically. So this is another way you could switch your grip. You could use it to strike side to side with jabs, or you could use it to go from a front jab into a full swing. And basically what you're going to be doing is switching your underhand grip to an overhand grip, and your other hand the opposite. When doing this switch grip, you basically want to keep your palms on the staff at all times. I'm just rotating my fingers around to the top or the bottom. If I'm using this switch grip to set up the swing from a front jab, what I'm going to do is combine the transition of my grip with also sliding my hands down to the bottom of my staff, or the top of your staff. That will then become the bottom of your staff for your swing. Now I want to talk to you about a good way I came up with to set up the front jab. It's a fake, so you're going to fake your opponent out by pretending to jab at him with this technique, and then you're actually going to extend the jab. So what I'm doing is I'm sliding my hand, I open it, I slide it down. The bottom hand is coming up to make it appear to your opponent that you are jabbing and extending your staff outward, when really your staff's not going anywhere, it's just your grip. But then I extend the staff outward with my bottom hand, and the real jab comes. So you're opening their defense by faking them out first and then landing the true strike. And what that'll look like from the front is it's going to appear, because of the perspective, that you're actually jabbing outward, but really you're not. It's just a fake or a feint. And then the real strike.
Alright, that was some basic strikes with the staff. Hope that video helped you guys. Hit like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.